Hi friend, my name is Mariah and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking through what is on my Netgalley shelf. Let's get into it. Not only will we be talking about what's on my Netgalley shelf, but I'm also going to include my Edelweiss shelf. So I have a total of about 7 books across the 2 shelves that we're going to be talking through. If you're not familiar with Netgalley or Edelweiss, these are platforms where you can get copies of upcoming releases. And you don't have to be someone who's posting videos on the internet or doing these crazy reviews or anything. Anyone can sign up for the platform and review these books. But let's start with Netgalley. On Netgalley, I have 4 books. And the first book is Hiyahh's Christmas. Now, I'm smiling because this book has actually already been released. It was released on October 25th, but so I'm a little behind on my Netgalley reading. But Hiyahh's Christmas is about Melissa, who's an interior designer, and she comes home and her husband tells her that he's been cheating on her, he wants a divorce, and he wants to keep the house. And so her life has just been shattered. But in the mail, she gets a letter saying that she's inheriting a house in Scotland. And so she hops on a jet and flies over to Scotland. While she's on her way there, she meets a guy and they're just, hitting it off. And then he agrees to help her with this house in Scotland, like getting it in her name and all this stuff. And then come to find out, this man is her husband's, or I guess I should say ex-husband's, divorce attorney. Like, how do you come up with a plot like that? That is so good. So I can't speak to how good it is or whatnot, but that is a book that I'm excited about reading. So if you're interested, you can already go and cop that book because it's already been published. That's Hiyahh's Christmas. The next book on my shelf is Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. Now, Ali Abdaal is a productivity YouTuber. He used to be a doctor, but then quit that so he could do YouTube full time. And so he's grown a huge platform across all the social medias, and now he's written a book. And so this book, the idea behind the book is that productivity doesn't have to be tiring and laborious and cause you to burn out. Productivity can actually feel good. In the book, Ali shares experiences from founders and Olympians and Nobel-winning scientists. And so I'm really hoping that this book isn't just a bunch of stories to make you feel good, but also that is actionable. And so that's what this book is about. And it's set to release on December 26th. So you can cop that if you're interested. The third book on my Netgalley shelf is called A Catered Quilting Bee. This book is about a sip and sew club, and they're having their first exhibition at the library. One of the members of the club is found hanging from her plant hook in her sewing room. And so everyone's like, oh, this is a suicide. But her best friend, Cecilia, is like, nah, and we need to investigate this. And so that's what this book is about. Cecilia launches her own investigation and she brings in a couple other friends to help out, and they're trying to figure this out and solve this mystery before someone else turns up dead. This is definitely a cozy mystery because they're literally sewing quilts. It'll be my first cozy mystery and I'm looking forward to it. It's set to publish on the 20th of February in 2024. And the last book on my Netgalley shelf is The Only Black Girl in the Room. This is a book about Genevieve, who is a reporter for a newspaper. She's been at the newspaper for about 4 years now, and she really had high hopes for where she might be 4 years into her career. But she's not there yet. She's stuck doing sensitivity checks for her coworkers when an opportunity comes up to do a profile piece on the CEO of this gala. Now, the CEO of this gala has never had a profile piece done on him, and it just so happens that the CEO is her ex. Her ex, where she broke up with him when he was proposing publicly, which, that's just really tough. And so she's wrestling with both trying to do a good job on the piece, but then also trying to manage her relationship with her ex, while also managing her relationship with her coworkers, who are now jealous that she has this big piece and are kind of sabotaging her work. I really look forward to reading that because the title is The Only Black Girl in the Room, and story of my life. And I think I'll read that next month, so you can look forward to that reading vlog. The Only Black Girl in the Room is set to release on May 7th of 2024. I forgot one book, and so I'm going to read a little 3-sentence blurb of the book. urgently wanted, a nanny for Christmas, seeking an adventurous nanny to work for the aristocratic lord family at their country estate, must love naughty dogs, mischievous children, and have a high tolerance for Christmas chaos. Room and board provided. I started to read a couple pages in this book. I read it in my Reading 50 Pages a Week video. So all I know is that Penny, the main character, got dumped by her boyfriend at the very beginning of the book, and then she accepts this job offer for a short-term nanny. And so far, it was just a little slow for me, but TBD on that. Now let's go to my Edelweiss shelf. On my Edelweiss shelf, I have 3 different books. The first one being Small Batch Discipleship Making. And this book is about exactly what the title says. This book talks about how we have gotten to a point where a lot of our discipleship happens at our Sunday gatherings. But the idea of this is that every Christian has a responsibility to be sharing their faith and making disciples. And so how do we do that? And what does that actually look like outside of the Sunday gathering? This book is for anyone that wants to grow in their faith or wants to grow in hospitality and compassion, but then also in sharing their faith. And so I look forward to this. Discipleship has played such a huge role in my life. I've just been truly transformed by people who have taken time to disciple me. But also I think it's helpful to have a view of discipleship isn't necessarily having coffee with the same person for an hour and a half every week, and that it can look very different. And so I'm hoping that that's kind of like the avenue that this book is going to be talking about, but TBD. Small Batch Discipleship Making is set to release on February 6th of 2024. The next book on my Edelweiss shelf is How to Solve Your Own Murder. I'm especially looking forward to this because it's very interesting. Basically, the plot is that this woman, she gets a fortune when she's 17 years old, saying that one day she will be murdered. And then a year after that, her friend goes missing. And so she spends basically the rest of her lifetime trying to figure out how her friend went missing, what happened to her. She's writing all these journal entries about her friend and her life and documenting everything. And then one day, she's murdered. This book has 2 timelines. So all of that has happened in the past, but then present day, Annie is bopping around her life, you know, doing whatever, when she gets summoned by her great aunt. And by the time she gets to their house, her aunt has passed away. Well, been murdered. And so Annie is now trying to figure out what happened to her great aunt, but then also realizes and stumbles upon all of the notes that her great aunt had about Emily, her great aunt's friend. She's trying to figure out what happened to Emily. She's trying to figure out what happened to her great aunt. Meanwhile, she's trying not to let people know because she doesn't want to be the next one to be murdered. So this seems like a very interesting plot, and I'm interested to read it. How to Solve Your Own Murder is set to release on March 26th of 2024. And the final book on this list I am very excited about, and I just stumbled upon it truly, but it is Love in Tandem. This book supposedly is a Christian romance, and I know that there are Christian romances out there like Redeeming Love. I've never read that, but this is a clean romance and it's fake dating as well. My favorite. And so I'm really excited to dive into that. I hope it's really good. This book is about Charlotte, who her life has been kind of hectic and really sad recently, but she gets her dream job working at a music school. But when she gets there, she realizes the school is about to close because they don't have enough funds. And so as this is happening, she comes across her ex-fiance's brother, who has agreed to go cross-country with her to raise funds for the school. Which is just wild and just so funny. But it's fake dating, so somehow, I don't know how that works out. But I guess it would be weird to date your ex-fiance's brother, but somehow it's still fake dating? I don't know. But it's fake dating, it's a clean romance, and it's also opposites attract. So I'm very interested to read this one. Love in Tandem is set to release on April 2nd of 2024. Those are all the books on my Netgalley and my Edelweiss shelves. I'm really excited to read them, and you can expect some reading vlogs coming once I get to them. But happy Bookmas, and I hope to see you in the next one. See ya.